And I just wanted to talk about this with my friends because my friends are a very, very intelligent and compassionate group of people, and I was just surprised to, like, I don't know, I'm not surprised. It's super common conditioning that we all have about what sex work is and why it's bad, and what we need to do to protect and save people who are a part of that. But I just thought it was a good, like, moment to think together, especially because, like, I don't know, these stories that we share, like the Facebook post that was shared that was the inspiration for this derailing of my night, that was about being almost kidnapped in a parking lot, and the zip ties on the car. Stories like that, they enforce this tale that sex trafficking happens to you through kidnapping and violence, and it happens to random people, by strangers. And when we enforce that narrative, we don't leave very much space for other narratives, like the fact that the most common way to get into being trafficked for sex is through someone that you know, someone who you should be able to trust. And I think it'll be a little easier to understand with the analogy of rape, right? We've all, like, gone through the societal shifts of, having the story that rape happens to you in a dark alley by someone with a knife, comes up behind you when you're all alone, and it's random and violent, and there's no one around that could even help you. When we know that statistically and non-statistically, because it's not easy to report it, but both ways, it's true that it is far more likely that you are going to be raped by someone that you know, someone that you are supposed to trust, someone that someone you know trusts, an acquaintance, a friend of a friend, family. And I think we've really had to learn that the hard way over the past 20 years from having lots of stories of stranger danger in the media, and then all of us growing up and finding out oh my God, I got raped by someone I knew and I didn't see it coming because I thought rape happened by strangers in a dark alley or whatever. And I see this happening with the sex trafficking narratives. And I think it's just really important that we pay attention to trustworthy statistics, that, studies that aren't funded by organizations that are trying to abolish sex work, consensual sex work, and also just the voices of people that are most directly impacted and involved, like sex workers themselves. And if you start to listen to those people, you realize that that sex trafficking is much more likely by someone you know, and that our media and our world conflates consensual sex work with sex trafficking a lot, and that's harmful to people that just have a job that they do. And it shames and makes illegal consenting sex between adults, just for there being money involved. So yeah, these are some sort of scary storylines to be partaking in, and I just think it's worthwhile to do your research, and like look into what these organizations are really pushing, and what their work brings about in the world. And I did try to find, I was like, oh, maybe I should just freshen myself up on why the Nordic model harms sex workers, so that I could explain it item by item in this video. And so I just went to YouTube and I typed in ways that the Nordic model hurts sex workers. And I found, actually, the very first video is by this organization that I worked with and had the super pleasure of hanging out with and meeting, and kind of becoming like a little family when I was in South Africa. It's called Sizonke,
the Swedish model,
or Sonke Gender Justice, and they're connected with SWET, which is the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Task Force, and I'll pause this. It was really cool synchronicity. That the top video on that is like a graphic learning video produced by this org, like totally halfway around the world from where I am now, and from also our home in the Pacific Northwest. And they're a really great organization. So I super recommend it. That's all that I'm gonna say for now. I love you, friends, and let's think critically together.